Welcome back to Mr. B's, everybody. It's been a 2-week hiatus, but Tim Sitzmann and I are back. We're ready to roll.
We are back, and why are we? That's 2 weeks because you had a wonderful time, I'll bet, down south.
I did. And
congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And the good news is I'm still married. I have the ring on.
Yeah.
And she, we got through the wedding, we got through the honeymoon, and, she didn't call the dogs off at this point.
We at Mr. B's missed you. We had to go through a week without Chris here, and everybody was a little sad. But I want to tell you, the store's still full of clothes. We got a lot to sell, so they can come out and see me at Mr. B's.
It looks fantastic. You got, nice weather, and actually,
what a day today!
Oh, it's fantastic.
Unbelievable.
It's fantastic, and I actually said to Ashley last week on Thursday. I woke up and I go, man, I got to go to Mr. B's today.
Yeah, Ashley's talking to me about Ashley being Tim and Tim being Ashley.
Yeah.
See, I can tell he's married. What about those clones? What's going on up at Ames?
Everybody's a little bit upset, Tim.
What's going on?
Athlon.
Yeah, you were saying something about that off camera.
You read the preview magazines that come out every year. There's like 5-6 of them, and they come out earlier and earlier every year. Well, this year they released on would have been Wednesday.
Right.
So I picked up my copy of Athlon and the Sporting News. And generally, you take these things with a grain of salt because, frankly, what they do, and a lot of people don't know this, but they have local beat writers. So guys whose bylines you read in the area, they'll write the little previews of these teams,
right?
Which are completely objective. They don't pick records. These guys just write the little stories.
Sure.
And then what they do is they have all these writers kind of vote on how they think the teams are going to do, and I think that they put the average together or something like that.
Right.
Well, the Athlon people, you know what they think about Iowa State this year?
No, I didn't read it. I wish I would have.
Picked the Clones to go 3-9 overall and 1-7 in the Big 12.
Well, they obviously didn't give Coach Rhodes much credit for what happened last year and how he started to turn that program around. And you and I have talked about this prior, the athleticism that he's recruiting. I think that you have to give him a little strength of being there another year. And I'm looking, quite frankly, for I'm hoping that they can be 500 or better, maybe even another shot at a minor bowl.
I'm looking at 6-6.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be your goal.
I think that's realistic.
I think that 6-6 probably best case scenario.
He could win. They had a couple of nice wins last year, and who knows, an upset here or there. But a tough schedule, we know.
You know what really it ticks me off though, every year when you see a guy like a Roy Helu.
Yep.
A fine running back from Nebraska. He's a good running back. But when you see a guy like him, who really, he had some nice games before he got hurt last year, but he never has shown you, he can be a consistent running back in the Big 12. He's never shown you that. When guys like that move up ahead of like an Alexander Robinson on the all-conference charts, he is getting so disrespected, Alexander Robinson. If I'm Paul Rhodes, if I'm Tom Herman, if I'm Wally Burnham, especially Wally Burnham, considering Athlon ranked Iowa State defensive line, linebackers, and secondary all dead last in the Big 12.
Wow.
If I'm these guys and if I'm Alexander Robinson, I am putting these things all over our locker room. If this isn't bulletin board material, come on.
That may be wallpaper. They could have it all over, and I think that's incentive, and I think that's the way an Iowa State program has to begin, and as it's chugging forward and as it's trying to get better and better, and which we saw really nice results last year. I think this is some of the fuel you got to add to the machine. I mean, get some things going, and everybody's got a right to. We're sounding off here. Everybody's got a right to an opinion, but I think the strength is in what they're doing on the field, and I think next fall is going to show us some exciting things.
And my problem with the Roy Helu thing is, it's because he plays for Nebraska.
Yeah,
if he played for Baylor, would he be there? No. It's because he plays for Nebraska, and half these guys voting, they'll put him in there because he plays for Nebraska. Oh, we're the guy from Iowa State. What are we going to put him up there for?
Automatic.
They don't look at the actual player. It bugs me every year, but it's the nature of the beast. It's been like that since rankings started, since the magazine started coming out. It's not going to change. But this is bulletin board material, and that's what it's like to be a cyclist.
I'm glad to see you get fired up about this. I think that's a good sign. I think that obviously Coach Rhodes doesn't miss these kinds of things and uses the opportunity to get his team momentum going. And I hope he's starting right now. And obviously we had a pretty good spring run with him, and I'm looking for a pretty good season. I'm optimistic as heck.
I hope so, and like I say, it's going to be a tough schedule.
Very tough schedule.
Northern Illinois, that first game, I mean, the same magazine.
We got Utah. I mean, you look at that.
Utah's
schedule.
tough.
Yeah.
Utah, I mean, they have Athlon ranked Utah with 5 guys first team all conference in the Mountain West, which is a stacked league. Northern Illinois.
They aren't a slouch.
They're picked to win their conference by a lot of people.
They got to go to Iowa City, and that's going to be a tough game, as we know. And then the Big 12. I mean, what do you say? It's up and down the schedule. It's tough.
It's a brutal schedule, but
we knew that. We knew that going in.
But by picking Iowa State to go 3-9 and 1-7, that is nothing but blatant disrespect.
Right.
I mean, come on. They're not wearing the gold pants anymore. This isn't Iowa State of the 80s.
No, you're right.
This is a legitimate college football program that won a bowl game last year, that has their entire offense coming back. They're not going to be very good on defense. We know that. But that is disrespect to Paul Rhodes by picking them to be that bad.
And I think they're going to surprise them. You know, if we get to 500 next year, which I think we can, I think that's a huge, monumental turnaround program starting to happen. So let's just root for them, and let's put all those naysayers that we just read about. Let's put it behind us.
Yep, and it's possible too, Tim, that Iowa State could have a better team with a worse record this year. I think we need to prepare ourselves for that as well.
And that's part of building.
Yep.
You know, that's exactly right. Well, you know, it's good to have you all fired up after 2 weeks off. I think that the vacation really helped you a little bit.
Hey,
you know,
recharge the battery.
You're ready to go.
I tell you what, no.
I'm not so sure. I'm not sitting too close to this guy. He's pretty fired up today.
I'm amped up. You got smoke coming out the ears. I honestly, it ticked me off.
I can feel it.
When I read that,
there's a little heat here, you guys.
When I read that last night, it was supposed to be kind of my downtime. I was done working for the day. I'm like, I'm gonna flip through this thing. There was smoke coming out the ears.
Well,
I am not kidding.
I'm sure there's a few fanatics out there that are just as worked up, and that's the way we should be. And let's put it out on the field and win some ball games next year.
Tim, we're gonna cut it off right now, but
invite them into Mr. B's.
Yeah, I mean,
we're going to be closing it. You know, I got to tell everybody out there that we're closing Sundays through the summer, so you guys can go out there and enjoy your summer fun. But we'll be back open in September 12th when the fall season starts. We get geared up for warm clothing, and when the cold winds start blowing, we'll be ready in the fall on Sundays. But we're open Monday through Saturday. And we'd like to have you come in for the summer shorts and the T-shirts and all that kind of fun stuff. So come out and see us at 1995 Northwest Ankeny Boulevard. Not in Ankeny, that's where I live.
That's where you live. I can
Northwest 86th Street. Will you tell them where I am?
1995 Northwest 86th Street, beautiful Clive, Iowa.
Clive, Iowa. I was talking about home. Don't come by my home because I don't have any clothes there that you'd like.
All right, Tim. We'll see you next week.
See you next week. It's good to have you back.
All right, it's great to be back here at Mr. B's. Stop on in. Tell Tim Sitzmann and the crew that CycloneFanatic.com sent you. They'd love to chat Cyclones with you. For Tim Sitzmann, Chris Williams, we'll see you next week.